Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3YTV, tonight's broadcast of the Thornton Graphix Cup Series here from Myrtle Beach down in Florida. I am Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight, as always, is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, a little bit of short track action here tonight at a very, very tricky Myrtle Beach.
That's for sure. Myrtle Beach is such a tough track to drive on. And, it's going to take a lot of talent for these guys to get around 150 laps here at Myrtle Beach. It's a very unique track. A little bit of banking, some moderate banking, I guess you could say, as far as short tracks are concerned. But this section right here, as we ride on board with the 99 of Philip Scott, is going to be key to making it through and having a clean race there. The Turtles going through turns 1 and 2 are going to be a killer. You do not want to get down below that line. Or otherwise it's really going to upset your car and really mess up your race for, well, you and a lot of other drivers as well.
Yeah, of course, this racetrack is a racetrack really made for cars that are a lot lighter than these cars. I mean, you're usually talking about super late models, which are usually pretty slippery around this racetrack down in Florida. As you see, we are in the qualifying session here. Times on the left-hand side of your screen starting to roll in. Ben Izenga currently atop the board with a 19.682 over the number 49 machine of Stewart. But definitely going to be a very difficult race here tonight for most of the field, as the number 19 machine of Connor Hall goes sliding through turn number 1 and 2, and he goes around right there, pushing it just a little bit too much here, Bob. And I think we're going to see a lot of that here tonight. Connor Hall is going to jump to third place on the board.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of that tonight. I was taking place in some of the league's practice sessions that we had, looking to get a different setup for the track, whether we wanted to do a day race versus night race. And, throttle control is really going to be a huge key for this race, especially coming out of turn number 4. It's so easy to get on the gas just a little too early and a little too hard, and it is going to upset your car. Next thing you know, you're already spinning around. So it's definitely a tough track to get around in these fairly high-powered Xfinity cars.
I'm being corrected in the chat by Steven Doziak saying Myrtle Beach is actually in South Carolina. Yes, it is. Why did I think it was in Florida? I don't know. Trust me, I know Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina. It's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's a vacation spot for a lot of people, as we ride on board with Jason Freeman right here in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole number 20. He's yet to put in a lap time. He's going to go to the stripe this time, and let's see exactly where he's going to jump up on the board. And he is going to jump up in that number 20 machine just inside the top 10 in the 10th position, just knocking Drew Hillman out of the top 10 there in the number 4 machine. As you can see a look of this racetrack. And Bob, you mentioned how difficult it is, this racetrack. Part of that difficulty is just its shape. Very unique racetrack. Kind of reminds me of Memphis, that the Grand National Series used to run in back in the day. You can see turn number 1 and 2, very oddly shaped. You can actually see it's not a perfect circle, and really, or a perfect radius, I should say, because that's what's going to be one of the things these drivers have to watch out for. You can see how the track really sharpens up coming out of turn number 2 there onto the backstretch up at the top of the screen, and the car has a tendency to get very, very tight coming out of turn number 2. It's almost like a snap type, because that arc going off into turn number 1, you have to carry so much speed. You have to get on the brakes, and really you have to watch the attitude of the race car all the way off into turn number 1, because you're going 130 miles an hour, getting onto the brake, trying to get the car slowed down to turn and arced down for a funky exit off turn 2 down the backstretch. Turn number 3, the entry is a lot more standard to what you'd find at many NASCAR tracks, in my opinion. But then exit of turn number 4, it opens up, but then you have the dog leg on the front stretch. Very easy to just kind of have the track kind of come out and grab you coming onto the start-finish line. And it's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on all night long, because it's going to be catching out drivers. This is one of the most difficult tracks on the entire schedule here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. And Peter, you mentioned it. When it comes to throttle control and that, just it's a little disorienting heading down into turn number 1, because pretty much as soon as you cross the start-finish line, that's when you're going to have to hit the brakes, and you really have to find your braking points. And it's going to be a tough one, that's for sure.
That it is. Well, we're going to jump over here into the gridding because we have to get through tonight's starting lineup nice and quickly here because these two pace laps are going to go by very quickly. And starting on the pole here, the number 17 of Ben Izenga, very, very quick in the NOS Energy Drink Toyota. I know he's put in a good amount of practice laps as well for tonight's race. And starting alongside him, the number 49 machine of Chris Stewart. Row number 2 on the inside. We got the number 19 of Connor Hall with James Babb alongside him in 4th. Inside of row number 3, Chris Darling, your winner from a couple of weeks ago, will be starting right there in 5th. Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine, the Max Graphics Toyota, starting in 6th. On row number 4, James Lorello in the number 13 on the inside with Philip Scott in the number 99 alongside him. And on row number 5, Tristan Maher and Jason Freeman there, Bob.
Now starting on the row inside of row number 6, the 4 of Andrew Himmelman, and on his outside, the 50 of Bill Edwards, starting in 12th. Starting in the 13th position, the 38 machine of Vincent Valvano, and on his outside, the 41 of Tony Lucarelli. Now on to row number 9, the starting in 17th, the number 3 machine of Steve Rada, and on his outside, the 52 of Hot Lap Ron Chicky, making his season debut. On the inside of row number 10, in the 28 machine, that's Spencer Tart, and on his outside, the 98 of Jerry Glenn.
And then on row number 11, DeMarco Starks and Steven Doziak Jr. My dog is barking in the background. He's been very barky today. He's just wanting to make himself heard here on the stream. And then on row number 12, Mike Floppy Tellier, Dave Harvey, Jeff Wyatt, Garrett Gleason, Kyle Gavishausen, Stephen Kegman, and Matt Monticelli rounding out your field. And Bob, why don't you take it away here just for a little bit as I go figure out what the heck my dog's barking about?
Absolutely. Well, the driver's now getting ready to grid up and take on this very, very tough Myrtle Beach Speedway. And, I mean, this track, 0.54 miles, just over half a mile here, as the cars start to roll off of pit road here. This is a very tough race. You know, taking a look at the stats for the race, 60% fuel limit for these drivers, 3 tire sets, including the set that these drivers are starting the race with. But the big, big hurdle for these cars are going to be those turtles, no pun intended, as they drive off down into turn number 1. If you get a little bit lower, it just is going to be a tight one to get down, and those turtles really do upset your car as you go on through. Taking a look tonight at the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers, it's going to be the number 4 machine of Andrew Himmelman, the 14 of DeMarco Starks, and the 50 of Bill Edwards, going to be battling it out there for the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash as these drivers get ready to start things off. The lights on the pace car are off. Pace car ducks down pit road, and now the excruciating long drive waiting for the green flag to fly as they come out of corner number 4. Green flag is in the air, and the 17 of Ben Izinga will lead the field down into turn number 1. On his outside, the 49 of Chris Stewart. Stewart on the outside trying to take a look, but the 17 of Izinga is able to clear it and head on down the back straightaway. Still not fully clear, but now taking a look to the inside now is going to be the number 19 of Connor Hall. So now Hall and Stewart are battling it out, but a good battle here for the lead as the drivers all make it through a clean lap 1.
Yeah, great to see a clean lap number 1 as we watch all the cars race by here on the backstretch. A really big field here tonight for this Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Cup Series. Thank you all for joining us in the chat here tonight. You see everyone working their way out of turn number 4. This is really going to be an interesting race to watch because we have seen just how difficult this racetrack is as the number 19 of Connor Hall has made that pass now up to second position, trying to dig right down there on the inside line. And Bobby, you can see all the bumps here at this racetrack as well. In fact, let's go on board the number 19 machine of Connor Hall right here because you can just watch these cars ride the bump, and because of the fact that they're carrying so much speed off into the corners and they have to get on the brakes when they do, you really have to run a fairly stiff suspension here. Otherwise, your car's just going to roll over on that right-hand side. You can see how much these cars are leaned over on that right-hand side, even though they're running an extremely stiff suspension here tonight. It definitely is a very difficult track as you're almost turning the whole way around this racetrack. Very little time to have that steering wheel straight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very physical track as well that you mentioned with the bumps. Having to plan your brake. You don't want to obviously get into the brake too hard or you're going to slide your car out. You don't want to, load on the front end, have that back end swing around or anything like that. So, this really takes a lot of skill and a lot of concentration just to do one lap around this racetrack. As we take a look, here is the 38 of Vincent Valvano, along with the 50 of Bill Edwards. Valvano looking to the inside of Edwards. Valvano having a pretty decent race so far tonight. Just dives on into turn number 3, coming out of turn 4. Taking a look back up here at the front of the field. Still Ben Izinga after 9 laps completed here in the books. We are going to have a competition caution at the end of lap 30. So that'll be a good chance for these drivers to gauge their tire wear, see how everything is going to be going on there. And just kind of a all-around break for this field because there's some very tough racing. Top 5 drivers in position are going to get some championship points for tonight's race at the stage break. 5 points for the winner, 4 points for second, third, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, 1 for fifth. And just a good battle now here for the lead as we watch Ben Izinga drive it off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Sorry about that. I am waiting on a very important package as a caution flag has come out. In fact, I'm waiting on my new computer, and I just got a phone call from UPS, and they might have lost my package. So I do apologize about that, but I knew it was something rather important when I saw a phone number from UPS, and it is work-related, folks, but we'll go back and see this on the replay. The number 98 machine, number 84 machine, Matt Monticelli and Garrett Gleason there having a little bit of a coming together. The 84 machine there going around, and hopefully he was able to get it going before and stay on the lead lap before all things kind of were sorted out here, and you just kind of got a quick look at that, but the first caution flag is out here tonight, folks. I do apologize for that. But we got about 138 laps to go now, and definitely will be an interesting one. Bob, do you expect to see people come down pit road, or do you think they're going to save those tires for later?
I think they're going to save the tires. This track really is fairly tire dependent here, and the more and the harder you run, the more the tires are going to fall off. So I would definitely stay out for the most part if I was towards the front of the field at least to try to save the sets of tires towards the end. We saw some great pit strategy last week from Jason Gracias, who saved his last set of tires at Homestead until pretty much the last caution and was flying through the field and unfortunately just ran out of time to catch back up with the leaders. But some tire strategy is going to be pretty key in tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see it all shake out as Ben Izinga in that number 17 machine does stay out. Just going to be looking up and down the scoring pylon to see if any driver elected to come down and actually take any tires. We are seeing that Steven Doziak in the number 55 and Matt Monticelli are your 2 cars currently scored 1 lap down. There's the 55 of Doziak, and there is Matt Monticelli in the Choman's Care Ford Mustang after that slight contact there. Just sending him around. Doesn't look like there's any damage on that race car. That's the good news, and that's not a good look, is it? So we'll see if we can get him back out there on the racetrack here shortly. But up at the front, it is the number 17 machine of Ben Izinga with the pace car lights are still on here at Myrtle Beach. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what's going on. We got TJ Buck, Mr. Lewis in the chat, Anne Marie saying, no. Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying if they've lost my new computer. Golly, UPS, come on. Tana Himmelman, always rooting on. Andrew Himmelman, Mr. Boondog 88. He says, I need to remember this one, Racing Drew, from now on. TJ Buck saying, no, not the 84. Yeah, Monticelli gone around. Bringing out the first caution flag here tonight. Ben Adams also in the chat. Thank you all for joining us here as the pace car headed down pit road once again. So the green flag once again in the flagman's hand for the second time here tonight, and we'll soon be waving it as we go back to green here on lap number 17. Izenga's on the loud pedal. Green flag, Bob.
And a great jump there by Izinga, able to dive down into the corner and has a good jump on the 19 machine of Connor Hall as they come down the back straightaway. A very quick lap here, averaging probably about a 19 to 20 second lap, upper 19 to mid 20s for the laps here. So some very quick laps at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, and the field here already starting to get a single file up near the front, but meanwhile in the back where we're watching, we're looking at the Hornet's Nest as the number 24 machine of Ben Mashburn trying to save in front of David Harvey with the number 41 of Monticelli to his outside. Look at the number 98 machine back there. That's Tristan Maher going toe-to-toe with that's Jerry Glenn in the number 98 machine, going toe-to-toe with the number 28 machine of Spencer Tart right there. Tart getting really close, and look at Hot Lap Ron Chicky in the 52 machine. That is tight, folks. That is very tight. Almost contact between those two, and there might have been a little bit of contact as a big wiggle out of the 28 machine.
Man, the 28 just got a little bit squirrely there as they were coming out of the corner, and oh man, I don't know how these guys haven't wrecked it yet with how tight and close quarters these cars are. I mean, I feel like you can fit, about 4 or 5 of these guys under one blanket as they come out of turn number 4 here.
And big shout out to Bill Edwards' family back home. We continue to watch this battle here between Spencer Tart and Tony Lucarelli in the 41 and the 28. A Tart just hit the curbing down there, and oh boy, we saw that one coming, didn't we, folks? Caution flag in the air for the second time here tonight. And we'll go back and see if we can sort that one down. But, Bob, we kind of saw that Hornet's Nest coming right here. Here we go. Watch the 28 machine of Spencer Tart. Does he hit those? I think he hit those pillows down there. Lucarelli not giving him a whole lot of room. And there comes the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier to just get into the back of the 41 machine. And it was on from there. Hot lap Ron Chicky. Not what he wants to have happen here back in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Yeah, just a tough break there. Wrong place at the wrong time for Hot Lap Ron, where, he was just caught out of position, really, and got caught up in someone else's mess. And with a short track like this, I feel like that's something that's going to be happening as this race goes on.
Yeah, without a doubt. We'll get one more look at this one from, let's go on board with Hot Lap Ron Chicky here. We'll see this contact. And I don't think we'd see it in our pillow cam. Yeah, it's a little bit too far back. So we'll go on board with Hot Lap Ron Chicky, and that's when that contact happened there with the 41 machine. So definitely not what you want to have happen here. A couple of drivers early on getting a decent amount of damage. There's the 52 machine. Let's check on with the 41 of Lucarelli. He sits in his pit box just now rolling, but pretty heavy damage on that race car.
Yeah, some heavy damage there, and he actually wound up getting airborne as he made contact with the inside wall just before making contact with the 52. So good to see he's okay. Just the car a little worse for wear.
Yeah, definitely that number 17 machine. Bob, I'm going to let you vamp here for just a little bit. Need to make a quick message, and we'll let you vamp and kind of tell the fans what's going on here around the racetrack before we go back green.
Absolutely. Well, pace car still doing some laps here, getting ready to go back green, and this really is going to be a huge shootout. Only a couple more laps until the competition caution falls at the conclusion of lap number 30, and some decent laps so far that these drivers have been putting in. Ben Izinga leading the most of the way here and having a great race there at it, and it's something that he's definitely needed. As the season progresses, had some pretty bad luck last week at Homestead, getting wrecked about midway through the race after picking up a couple of stage points there. But, it's great to see Izinga back out front. Some newcomers like Connor Hall out there in front as well, putting in some really, really good work as the lights on the pace car are off. And we're getting ready to go back to green as the field comes out at corner number 2. Just a tough fought race. And, we were talking at the beginning of this broadcast where those turtles are going to cause problems as this race goes on. And, the next thing that I kind of fear is maybe some green flag pit stops later on in the race here, as the flagman has the green flag in his hand. The green flag waves, and we're back underway. 17 of Ben Izinga dives down into the corner. But as I was saying, the green flag pit stops, if we get to that point, are going to be tough. I mean, the exit and entrance to pit road is so close to one another. If we're going to have a situation where green flag pit stops would happen, as the yellow flag will come out once again on the track.
Yeah, it looks like we got someone turned around. I think that's Tristan Maher in the other number 98 machine. There he is. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened to Maher just a little bit ago. Mayer is in one of the number 98 trucks. There is another number 98, and a little bit of contact there with the 00. I think that's James Babb, and Lorello gets involved. Looks like Mashburn, the 77 machine, and everyone doing all they can to avoid a stricken number 98 of Tristan Maher as he gets turned back around. Hopefully none of those cars have any significant damage, but we do know that Tristan Maher is on pit road right now.
Yeah, and just taking a look at the replay, just, that's the issue here with a tight track like Myrtle Beach, where if one car gets turned around, unfortunately, you're having a lot of other guys behind you get involved as well, where you have a little bit of that traffic jam chain reaction, where if one driver's not fully able to slow down, gets in the back of you, and someone gets in the back of them, and it's a whole mess. And that's something that we just saw here to bring out the caution.
You see Tristan Maher on pit road. We saw Jason Freeman on pit road. Meanwhile, up the front, Ben Izinga there in the number 17. And Bob, we got a little bit of green flag running there to start off the race. And I know we were kind of expecting a lot of cautions just because of the fact that, it's a difficult setup to drive. But really what I'm kind of seeing is these drivers doing a great job with the setup, just a little bit of short track action, early in the race, some really hard racing out there, and just a little bit of a nudge upsetting these cars to turn it around. But how about Chris Darling in the number 70 machine? He's been on an absolute tear here in the Total Nonstop Racing Grand National Series. Of course, the two-time Total Nonstop Racing Series champion right there in the yellow transportation number 70 Toyota Supra. Doing a great job here tonight. Again, getting himself up into the third position. Now, what can he do on this restart upcoming?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he has in his back pocket here for this race, because, like you said, Peter, he's been on a tear. He won a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham, almost followed up with a back-to-back win last week, but James Lorello got the best of him last week. So, 3 very strong races in a row now, thus far at least. Knock on wood here for Chris Darling.
Yeah, Chris Darling going to be restarting second on the inside groove. We got a couple of cars with some pretty hefty damage who elected to stay out. Drivers like James Arello, who was involved in that last accident in the S2R Chevy Camaro right there. And there's a little bit of bad blood between himself and Chris Darling over the last week or so. That's something to keep an eye on here tonight, as we are on a short track. And you and I know, Bob, tempers sometimes flare here when we get to these short tracks like here Myrtle Beach.
Oh, absolutely. And that, like you said, it's the product of the racing. It's close quarters, fender to fender action. And, really, it's one of those things where it wouldn't be a short track if tempers didn't flare. And, especially with the way this race is going, who knows what could happen later on in this race.
Green flag is flying. As you can see, the number 17 machine of Ben Izenga goes off into turn number 3 and 4. Now working his way onto the front stretch once again here. And you see all those flash bulbs flying as the 00 of Babb is going to look to the inside of the number 13 machine. Some good hard racing a little bit further back in the pack. Babb's going to take that position, and he's going to move himself back up now into the top 5 after that contact there just a little while ago between himself and Tristan Maher. That 00 machine right there. Great looking ride. Very similar to the number 98 machine right there a little bit. Excuse me, it wasn't the number 98 machine. Spencer Tartan, the 28 machine. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. There he is. Very similar ride. And that number 28 machine running right behind the number 50 of Bill Edwards. just outside the top 15, both of those two, as they continue to race for those positions. And one thing that I'm going to see here tonight, Bob, is just how difficult it is to pass around this racetrack. I was thinking about that. Both you and I got a little bit of time with this particular setup on this racetrack. And, you know, since you're turning left pretty much the entire lap, very difficult to get a run on the car in front of you. You can see right there, as we're right on board with Bab, there's just not a lot of room to get that launch out of the corner to really close in on the car in front.
Yeah, definitely not. And to compound that with the amount of power that these cars put out, you don't want to get on that loud pedal too quickly or too heavily, because then you just lose traction in the back and the back end spins around and a caution comes out. So there really is a very fine line between having control on the car and losing control and just having a fast car in general.
We go on board here with the number 99 machine of Philip Scott. He's a driver, Bob, who really has a tendency to drive the car into the corner really, really hard. And on a racetrack like this, that can be very beneficial, because this racetrack, you're going to have to tack every corner. As caution flag waves once again, did we see someone attack the corner a little bit too hard? Let's see if we can find out. Here we go. Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 97 machine, who's been having a kind of a rotten season so far. I think he hit those pillows down there. We saw the left side of that car just kind of hop up into the air. Let's see if we can go on board and see exactly if that's what happened here, Bob.
Yeah, as he drives down, yep, that's exactly what it was. Caught the last couple of pillows. And, you know, that is one thing that was really affecting me when I was in the testing sessions with the setup is, you know, coming out of two, it's almost like we're trained to go down and use the banking and the apron to kind of help you turn. And look at that right there. The last two pillows, Floppy just ran it over and got turned around, and that just called it a day right there.
Yeah, so he's going to be now well back in the pack. But, Bob, we're closing in on that 1/3 race distance. Think about coming down to take tires. Doesn't look like your leaders are doing so. Anyone else thinking of going down pit road?
You know, I'm actually a little bit surprised now that no one has come down pit road to take those tires. Only because at this point in the race, you know, we're a third of the way through. We have two more sets of tires in the pits. I mean, me personally, I'd be sitting there screaming, hey, give me tires, please, because my car would be sliding all over the track at this point.
77 machine of Dave Harvey is going to pick up your Max Graphics Lucky Dog Award to get himself back onto the lead lap. We'll have 23 cars on the lead lap once he gets himself caught back up to the pace car. And you can see that number 77 Hisense Toyota Camry, a little bit worse for wear as he slips his way through turn number 1 and 2 here. But I'm sure David will be very happy to be back on the lead lap where he can contend for some positions. But we were seeing some good racing under that short little green flag run with the number 99 of Philip Scott there starting to make some noise.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. Like you'd said, he has a tendency to drive hard down into the corners. And, you know, that's not something that we're seeing out of him tonight. He's doing a really good job of having a clean, even-keeled race. And, you know, let's face it, these Xfinity cars or the B cars really have a bit of a learning curve associated with them just because of how much power they have going to the wheels, and you know, they're easy to spin out. So it's, you know, it's great to see, you know, all of these drivers kind of getting used to the car a little bit more as the season goes on.
Here we're going to try and dial up a replay there of Mike Floppy Tellier and Garrett Gleason both getting onto pit road, unable to quite dial that one up for you as the pace car lights have turned off. That's the one good thing about these short tracks, Bob, is that pace laps aren't very long, and we're closing in on the 1/3 distance here as the number 49 of Chris Stewart going to look to the inside here of Ben Izenga, who chooses the high line here for this restart.
Wow, very interesting to see, especially with Izenga choosing the low line, both of his restarts. And, well, looks like it worked out for him here as he's shot out of a cannon as they dive off into turn number 1.
He is shot out of a cannon. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, side-by-side action right here around the 6th position between the 00 of Bab and Lorella. We've seen these two go to work on one another as 13 trying to use that high line. Man, getting really tight there up off the corner, we see just how funky that front stretch is from that turn 4 camera. Let's go on board here with the number 13 of Lorello as he shoots down the backstretch now. You see there, Bab now going to slot into the 5th position right in front of him. But watch how this wall kind of comes out and grabs you right there. In fact, you could see someone throw up some sparks. I think that was the 70 of Chris Darling who just got into the outside wall there just a little bit. Meanwhile, looking out back of the number 13 of Lorello, the number 24 machine of Mashburn, who's got a good showing so far here tonight in that SpongeBob SquarePants Toyota. Really, really strong here in the early running, as is the number 99 of Philip Scott, one of the few cars out there who I've seen able to contend another driver for a pass as he closes in right on the back bumper of Mashburn.
Oh, man, that was really tight there. It's almost like Scott got a much better run coming out of the corner, but Mashburn almost stalled out a little bit as a couple more drivers come through the camera shot here. That's the 8 of Ricky Williams. And Williams and Edwards, 2 other guys, have been battling it out pretty much this entire race side by side. And, you know, after a while, it's got to get tiring.
Yeah, you can see that number 50 of Edwards. He's been stuck back there in the pack pretty much for the first, 50 or so laps. We'll have to see whether or not he can work his way up as we see the number 86 machine right here of Jeff Wyatt right behind Spencer Tart. Good job by Spencer Tart here in the first portion of the race. But Jeff Wyatt, actually the biggest mover of the race so far, gaining 11 positions in the number 86 Kool-Aid machine, but he does have the number 14 to his outside, DeMarco Starks, and here comes Andrew Hillman in the number 4 race car with Steve Rada right behind him. The 14 of Starks goes way up the racetrack, though. This is looking like a little bit of a hornet's nest right now.
Man, and the 4 of Himmelman gets into the wall a little bit there as they dive off into turn number 3. So, very much so, a hornet's nest, some close door-to-door racing, and, all that's left is one driver to make a little bit of a mistake, one slip up, get up into the wall, or clip one of those turtles, and that'll just spell disaster for this whole pack of cars.
Yeah, and look at Andrew Himmelman there. I think he just caught the wall coming out of turn number 2. He's really struggling with that number 4 and the bite up off the corner. He's got the number 50 of Edwards underneath, and they continue to be side by side. This is some great action a little bit further back in the pack. Look at the 20 of Jason Freeman. Mike Floppy Tellier trying to work his way now back up as the 50 and the 86 now really tight with one another. I think Edwards there just kind of argy-bargy pushing the 86 out of the way, and they start to settle that one out. Meanwhile, back then, Ricky Williams and the 41 of Lucarelli going side by side. That is the battle for the 21st position. Lucarelli having all that damage. Meanwhile, back up the front, you're not really missing anything as the top 3 have kind of scooted away. Chris Darling has settled into the 4th position now. Remember, he was battling for 2nd earlier, right in front of James Bab and Lorello still running in 6th. And what about Hot Lap Ron in the number 52 machine? Remember, he had that early problem there, Bob. Got some damage on that 52, but he's currently sticking it out here in the 7th position. But don't look anywhere because here comes Jerry Glenn, excuse me.
Yeah, there's Jerry Glenn right there on the inside, looking to get a nose in the quarter panel, and oh wow, what a moment there for the 52 of Hot Lap Ron, getting sideways as Glenn just got right into the quarter panel, had to back off. And this is going to be an interesting little battle right here.
That it is. You can see the 52. I think he just lost his rear bumper on that race car. As you see Mashburn and the 99 there, Philip Scott going side by side once again. These two are kind of stuck together. Mashburn running right now in the 9th position, right behind Chicky in 8th, and now Mashburn going to dive to the inside, and there's contact! There's contact! They get things sorted out. There was a little bit more contact between those two. There could be more contact. There is more contact! There's more contact in the 99 of Philip Scott. What a save, folks. Possible save of the season for Philip Scott there going off into turn number 3.
Wow, I thought I was watching a Formula Drift there as the 99 of Scott slid it through the entire turns 3 and 4 complex there. But let's just take a look here at this replay. He gets underneath the 52 of Hot Lap Ron as he heads down in there. And oh, wow, sideways as he and the 38 and the 52 all kind of fitting under one blanket there. But, oh, wow, some tense moments there for the 99 as, oh, again, as he gets a little squirrely there.
Yeah, that was our final replay of all that mess, just to get a little bit of an onboard, but he's going to squeak away with the 9th position, at least for now. Vincent Valvano has actually moved himself now up into the 10th position, but a Hot Lap Ron now sliding back to 11th, and I really think Hot Lap Ron was trying to get those elbows out, Bob, here on the short track. He says, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to be pushed around here, but it didn't work out in his favor. He's now slid back to 11th, right behind the number 38 of Vincent Valvano. That number 38 putting on a good run here tonight. Hot lap run there, catching him kind of at an awkward spot, but here comes the 14 of DeMarco Starks now closing in on the back of the 52 of Hot Lap Run.
And it's so tough at a track, especially like Myrtle Beach here, where if you catch a guy at the wrong point in your corner, you're going to have to let off a little bit or risk either getting into the driver in front of you, spinning out and losing control of your own car. It's just such a tough point, which as it happens throughout the race, it gets more and more frustrating, and the frustration could sometimes overboil, and it only takes one driver to send it into the corner a little bit too hard, get into you get frustrated, and next thing you know, there's another yellow out on the course.
Your race leader, Ben Izenga, right now is in some lap traffic. You see Jeff Wyatt right there pulling right up in front of the number 1 of Jason Gracias. But now that your leaders have gotten into this lap traffic, it definitely means they're going to have to fight this one out. Now they're closing up on the 44 machine of Kyle Giveshausen as the laps continue to click off very rapidly here at Myrtle Beach, as we kind of expected they would if we were able to get some green flag running in. But Bob, I think we're starting to get that little bit of a green flag feel here right now, and hopefully we can keep that going. But these leaders, I would think probably in the next 20, 30 laps, they'll be coming down pit road for the one and only stop that they will need here tonight. So definitely that's something we got to keep an eye out for, because that could potentially lead to some very interesting strategies out there on the racetrack.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if it's a green flag pit stop, are you going to try to run your car until completely empty and, pit at the very last possible second? Or are you going to try to short pit and, try to figure out some math as far as, how long will it take you to empty your tank, and make it more of a fuel run. So it's going to be some interesting strategy here as the laps tick down.
You can see the numbers at the top of the screen, folks, of just when the drivers, as I say that has gone out the window because the caution flag has come out. We'll see exactly what this caution flag came out for. See if we can sort this one out. Bob, not sure if you're seeing anything. I'm not necessarily seeing anything right now on my end. We'll see if it happened off in turn number 1. I think it might have. Ooh, yes, I think we finally figured it out. Luckily, they were able to get things back going pretty quickly. Here we go with the number 38 of Vincent Valvano. 77 of Harvey as it was inside, and just a little bit of contact right there. And oh, man, Valvano did get the inside wall pretty hard there, but as you can see, he drove away pretty quickly, which before the yellow, or as the yellow came out, I was looking around going, what the heck? Where did the yellow come from? Well, let's see if we can see this one from high atop, because I think that little kink right in the middle of the front straightaway there kind of caught out these two, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like there's that little bit of kink there. Got into the wall a bit. The 77 was there. 38 looks like he might have came down on him. And then, just barely kissing that inside wall as we get a fantastic shot of the action with that pillow cam.
Yeah, so they're all going to drive away. Hopefully that's not a whole lot of damage. But meanwhile, we have some takers on pit road for the first time here tonight. Ben Izenga in the number 17 came down onto pit road, as did Philip Scott in the number 99 machine. But I believe Philip Scott, looking at live timing and scoring, Philip Scott only took 2 tires on that car, which is a very interesting strategy call. Izenga and a lot of others took 4. But now the field is starting to realize, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have taken 4 tires, because a good portion of the field, like Dave Harvey right here, Steve Rada, I think they just got caught a lap down because they took 4 tires. That can happen on some of these short tracks, Bob, is you just,
wow.
You get stuck a lap down because of it.
Yeah, just a tough break there because, obviously 4 tires are going to be way better. But if some of these other drivers go out and take two, or if we have other guys stay out on stay out on the racetrack, that really could change everything. And now there's a lot of drivers who are now caught one lap down because of it.
Yeah, trying to see if I can see what happened to the 55 machine of Steven Doziak. I think Doziak just had a little bit of a moment off pit road. We'll see if we can dial this one up real fast. Here he is coming out back up onto the racetrack. And, just spun it around. I think he got on the gas a little bit too much. Dave Harvey there having to slam on the brakes. Let's see if we can go back and get that one more look, and just gets on the power too early and slam bam into the inside wall. And that's not what Steven Doziak wanted to see either, as it looks like the field here is starting to line up and possibly getting set to go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, getting ready to go back green. Mike Floppy Tellier is going to be our point man as the green flag is out, and Tellier gets a great restart as he drives down into corner number one, but takes a bit of a high arc now as they're looking side by side further back between the 17 of Izinga and the 49 of Stewart, and three wide as they head off into the corner. That normally doesn't work out, but it looks like everyone is able to get out of it. But as we look ahead there in the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier's trouble as the 49's involved, the 13 of James Lorello in there as well. But we, for now, are going to be staying green.
Yeah, and I saw the 49 had a big wiggle going off into the corner. We'll slow this one down. You see him get loose, and a caution flag has come out. We'll figure out what the caution is for, but you can see that 49. It wasn't for this, I don't believe. You see the 49 kind of going around, and he was able to get things kind of sorted out. Now let's see if we can figure out what brought out the yellow as they went off down the backstretch. They were still under green flag conditions at this point in time. And let's see, it's a caution for the caution flag at this point is waving. So maybe that was what the caution flag was for. It was just possibly a delayed caution flag after that was all said and done. But man, that was a crazy moment.
Yeah, maybe just a bit of a late jump on the yellow flag button there. But man, that was just some chaos as the field was diving down into the corner where 3-4 wide never works at a short track, but especially here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, you see them going up. There were 4 wide. How about that? Ben Mashburn there going all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack to try and avoid it, and ended up going 4 wide. Let's see if we can see this all go on from the SpongeBob cam. And there he says, I'm just going to go down below these pillows down here. And he did a great job of picking up a couple positions. Some people might say, you know what, he cut the course by doing that, but was able to at least avoid any further damage in that SpongeBob machine. But we're now into the second half of the race, and I can only think, Bob, that was possibly due to cold tires on the 49 machine. Maybe just not used to how the car drives on cold tires. We saw once those tires get warmed up, it looked like all the cars were pretty stable, but right there kind of catching out the 49 machine on some cold rubber.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, like you and I had been mentioning, we're out there testing with this setup. I can't tell you the amount of times I spun out on cold tires just because I got a little too happy on the gas. But once I got the tires warmed up and up to speed, I didn't seem to slide nearly as much unless I was overdriving the car, which I tend to do. But, it definitely had to be a moment of just cold tires and a little bit of muscle memory after doing some 70 some odd laps with the warm tires.
Yeah, and that definitely happens, especially on these short tracks. And I mentioned how much speed you're carrying off into turn number one, how much you're dragging the brakes and trying to figure out, when's the car going to grip as they go into turn number one. And sometimes it just doesn't quite work out for your car, and the back cane gets a little bit loose. And I honestly think the 49 machine, had he had enough room to catch the car and save the car, I think he would have been able to do so, and that's why he was kind of able to drive away from all that madness. He just kind of ran out of room with the number 99 of Philip Scott to his outside, and unfortunately for Scott, he got quite a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, Scott got a bit of damage. There are a lot of damaged race cars here tonight as the pace car peels off. It's, it's just some good old short track racing, some beating and banging, using the fenders for what they're there for. As the green flag is out, and a great jump there by the 97 once again to get the whole shot as it head off into turn number 1.
Yeah, the number 1 machine, the 97 of Mike Floppy Telly, are going to jump out to the front. Ben Izenga right behind him there. Bob looking for the race lead.
Oh, looking for the late race lead here as the 17 of Izinga dives down to the inside. Tellier still has position as they come out of the corner, but here's Izinga. Izinga is going to lead that lap, and he's got the preferred line as he dives down deep, but the 97 on some older tires just slides back a bit now. He's back now, battling it out with the 00, and the 19 there is, the 00 locks it up just a little bit, in trouble. Behind him, the 20 of Jason Freeman gets turned around. The 41 of Lucarelli drives into him, as the yellow flag is going to come out yet again here tonight at Myrtle Beach.
Parking lot in that corner, that is for sure. We'll go back and get another look and see exactly what happened. This is down onto the backstretch here, and just a little nudge there from the 24 machine of Mashburn, and the 20 did everything he could to save it, did a great job of saving it, and right there, Tony Lucarelli coming in late in that number 41 machine and just catching the nose of the number 20. We'll see if we can get one more look at that one from the turn 3 entry cam, but that was definitely just a little bit of a nudge. Here we go. Let's see if we can find the number 20 here. They're running a little bit further back. There it was. It was right there. And there's a 20 going around. And bam, there's the contact with the 41 machine to bring out the caution here again tonight.
Man, just a tough break there for the 41 of Lucarelli. I believe that was the second incident that he's been involved with tonight. And, a new rule here at Total Nonstop Racing, there are no fast repairs. So what you start the race with is what you're going to have to finish it with. And there's a lot of damaged race cars out there, and just a tough break there to be just an innocent bystander.
So, anyway, the caution flag is out, and here we are once again. Let's go over to the chat. Tana Himmelman in the chat. Ryder Leangle. The way this is going, I wouldn't be surprised if the pace car is the winning driver. Logie Bear saying, oof, that's a bit of a knockback. I think that was in regards to the 99 machine. Logie Bear saying this track is like a baby Daytona. Yeah, it is. Kind of. It's got that little kink on the front stretch, that little tri-oval, if you will, right there as they work their way through. But Bob, at least I have, we do have some positives. We did get that longish green flag run. Hopefully we can kind of get back to it. But really, until the field sorts itself out and kind of goes single file, we have seen some crazy, crazy action. And I think that is just down to how difficult it is to pass here at this racetrack. It's just so difficult. So you're trying to get every little bit of position you can get under these restarts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's so hard to get around the car in front of you, and this is just one of those tracks that's good old short track racing, if you will. But it's just tough not only to get around the track but get around your competition as well. And as we've seen all night, one little slip up may not ruin your race or the guy's race that you get into, but maybe someone else as they accordion their way back through the field. So, it's always important to hit your marks and keep the race clean.
So you're getting a look right now at James Babb and the 00 machine running in the 4th position as we're about to go back to green. We're going to stay on board with Ben Izenga as he gets a huge jump on the field. Going off into turn number 1. Going to leave Jason Gracias in the dust. There is Gracias going to slot into second right in front of Babb. But meanwhile, they're side by side back behind him with Mike Floppy Tellier on older tires now. He was falling back through the field under that last green flag run right in front of Chris Darling. Now this is tight right here. Jerry Glenn in the number 98. The 70 there of Chris Darling and the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier.
Man, oh man, just some really tight racing there. I'm surprised that the 70 was able to stay off the back bumper of the 97 there, but just some really tight racing as they head off through turns 3, now coming out of turn number 4. And again, another situation where you could just fit half the field under a blanket right now.
And that was the number 86 machine. Oh, hot lap run. Chicky is around, and this will bring out a caution flag once Again, I think it all happened when Jeff Wyatt broke loose. Here coming out onto the front stretch. There's the number 86, the bright green machine. He gets loose, hits the wall, comes down, gets into hot lap run, and wow, that's a heavy, heavy hit for the number 52 machine. Hot lap run, Chicky. We'll have to go on board with him here on this replay.
Yeah, we'll take a look here, and just the 86 there of Wyatt gets a little squirrely. 52 got squirrely as well, able to collect himself. The 86 got into the wall. 52 just, again, an innocent bystander. I feel like that's the second wreck that he's been involved in tonight, that he was just kind of the innocent bystander, where he's just wrong place, wrong time again.
Well, this is the point in the race where the admins of the race have to get on the chat and say, you know what, guys? If we can't cut out this wrecking here on these restarts, we're going to have to go to a single file restart. They do it on a lot of short tracks in the United States. If you've ever been to any short track event across the country, if you get into this kind of habit of cautions breeding cautions over and over and over again, they'll say, you know what? Let's make restart single file. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see that here on one of these cautions. Now, we may not, but that is always an option that you can actually use in iRacing. You can actually go to that single file restart to try and say, you know what? Let's cut with the side-by-side action. Let's calm it down. Let's try and get into a rhythm and see if we can start making up positions that way. So that'll be something to keep our eye on here under this caution and potentially going forward, but hopefully we can get a little bit of green flag running in the chat. Logie Bear saying, no, Chicky. Yeah, Chicky. Quite a bit of damage on that number 52 machine. Let's actually check in with him. There he is on the backstretch. So he's still out there turning laps. That's the good news, but starting to look a little bit like a modified there, Bob.
Yeah, just all shortened up, and no front bumper, no back bumper. I'm sure the car's got to be driving like something he's never driven before, and it's a tough break because that is a slick looking paint scheme on that I believe it's a Camaro, or at least it was anyway.
Yeah, it was at one point, not so much anymore, but hopefully we can get a little bit of green flag running. I'm sure he'll be glad to see it because he's now mired well back in the pack. And he's going to need to try and pick up a few spots here before the end of the race as we close in on the final third of tonight's race. Everyone in the chat, hopefully you're having a good night all around the country, wherever you might be, or around the globe if you're somewhere else around the globe. Make sure you make yourself heard here on the chat. We really appreciate having all of you in the chat. We fairly recently hit 700 subscribers on the channel as we close in on the 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. Logie Bear is saying Scotland. Really? That's actually really, really cool. As the green flag is going to come out once again here at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, as Steven Doziak corrected me a little bit earlier. And battle for second now between Jason Gracias and James Babb here, Bob.
Yeah, good little battle there between Babb and Gracias. Babb has the upper hand right now as he's got the preferred line coming out of the corner, but the one of Gracias able to hold strong. He's arcing the corner out a little bit as Babb gets a little squirrely there, but looks like all things are A-okay as they dive off through the corner now. As taking a look a little bit further back here as the three of Steve Rada moves out of the turn. Here's hot lap Ron Chicky. Chicky doing a pretty decent job with that banged up race car right now as he's putting the pressure on the 99 of Philip Scott.
And right now, Ben Izenga was able to get that jump and really was able to pull away as the 1 and the 00 went to town. Oh, contact there. The 98 and the 13 had a little bit of a coming together. There is the 13, and where's the number 98? There he is, around in turn number 4. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened right here. We saw that contact just briefly out of the corner of the shot, going off into the corner, and this was them going down the backstretch, and the 13 kind of comes down, and the number 98 right there behind him. I think that's just two drivers getting slightly different braking points off into turn number 3, and that number 98 getting the bad end of that stick.
Yeah, for sure. Just taking a look at that replay there, it just looks like the 98 tried his best to not get into the 13 and wound up locking it up a little bit and spinning out just to avoid the 13, but unfortunately he might have gotten into the back of him as well as boop right there. And again, just locked it up to try to save it, and around he went right on that racing line.
Luckily, the rest of the field was able to avoid his spinning car, so Jerry Glenn going to fall all the way back to 18th. Right there, not where he wants to be as we now enter into the final third of the race. And Bob, a bit surprised that we're not seeing more takers on pit road. We do have a couple towards the back of the pack, but not a whole lot. There's Philip Scott in the number 99, who's had kind of an up-down night. He's had highs and now in a little bit of a low, but trying to get some 4 fresh Goodyear tires to see if he can charge his way back towards the front, as you see Jeff White in the number 86 machine there on pit road, as well as the number 7 of Garrett Gleason. It hasn't been Gleason's night in that Mike Skinner throwback Total Nonstop Racing machine. He's stuck 1 lap down in the 23rd position right now, coming off back up onto the racetrack. Hopefully not going to fall down another lap. Doesn't look like it, but the pace car lights continue to stay on, as it looks like I think that's the 44 Geveshausen who will have to stop at the end of pit road and will fall another lap down. He's currently being scored 24th.
And just taking a look at the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash for the drivers there, Andrew Himmelman, DeMarco Starks, and Bill Edwards. And just kind of taking a look right now, looks like the battle is between Starks and Himmelman for 8th and 9th place right now. For those two drivers. Looking for Bill Edwards, he's currently scored in 14th place. But right now, the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash between those two drivers right there on your screen, the 4 and the 14. So we'll see where these two drivers, as well as the 50 of Bill Edwards, land at the end of tonight's race to win a bit of a prize courtesy of Shibby Shack and the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see who walks away with that one here tonight. How about we go on board with Chris Darling here for this restart? Going to be restarting in the 4th position right behind the 00 of James Babb. Ben Izenga is the race leader right there in the NOS Energy number 17 machine. And wow, he's on the loud pedal really early. You see Chris Darling did not time that well. And now he's got the number 13 of James Lorello there just to the inside of him as they go tight through turn number 1 and 2.
Oh man, that is tight as the yellow comes out yet again. And man, that was just a tight restart there. Little surprised that they didn't get into each other.
And looking a little bit further back in the pack, this is what brought out the yellow contact between the 86 and the 38. Vincent Valvano goes around. Ooh, Jason Freeman there just getting a little nick in his car. Garrett Gleason says, you know what, buddies? I'm just going to come to a complete halt in my car and let it all shake down in front of him. Let's see if we can see that one more time. Let's go on board with the number 86 machine of Wyatt here, because there was definite contact. And let's see if we can see what happens. So the door is somewhat open here on Valvano. It's not a big door. And really, the 86 of Wyatt, they're really pushing that car in to that spot a little late. And that contact happens, and it brings out the caution once again here at Myrtle Beach. So let's see if we can bring up the race summary for all the people at home in the chat. There was some betting prior to the race on how many caution flags that we would see here tonight. Well, with this caution, we're at 10. I don't think I saw double digits. Let me go back, go to the top of the show, scroll up through the chat, yada, 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 seeing all you wonderful people talking about tonight's race. I think I saw one person say 8. Oh, Steven Doziak put the over-under at 10.5. So
I feel like if you took the over, you'd be in the money right now.
Yeah, with 44 laps to go, I think so. But you see that down there at the bottom of the screen. Your fastest lap actually currently in the 2nd place 00 machine of James Babb. So far, a big shout out to him. And only 2 lead changes here tonight, as the number 17 of Ben Izenga has led 96 of the 107 laps that we put in the books here tonight. Now the big question is going to be for the chat, will we see a green-white checker? Or will we see more than one green-white checker? What will we see here tonight on 3Y TV and the Thornton Graphix Cup Series? Big shout-out to all the series sponsors, Dunn Raceway Park as well, up in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. They are an indoor off-road RC racing circuit. And one thing about that is I actually just received my prize for winning the Total Nonstop Racing League Truck Series, the Stadium Super Truck Series last summer, which is actually an RC car. So I really wish I could take it up to Dunn Raceway Park. Of course, I'm nowhere close to Old Forge, Pennsylvania, but they are a series sponsor and have been now. This is their second series sponsoring the series, or second season sponsoring the series. I think I said second series sponsoring the series, but whatever. Pace car lights are off. Go check out Dunn Raceway Park. There is a link in the description to the video. Meanwhile, like I said, pace car is off. Ben Izenga once again early on the loud pedal, and we are back racing here at Myrtle Beach, Bob.
Man, what a fantastic restart yet again there by the 17 of Izenga, able to jump the start and really, like you said, get on the loud pedal just before the 00 of Bab. And, I mean, that's the perk of being the leader. You cause the restart and you go when you want to go. And man, the 17 of Izenga really went and had a great start at that.
How about the number 77 of David Harvey in the Hisense Toyota Supra? He's working his way. Oh, whoa, the 3 of Steve Reda has a big moment there coming out of turn number 2, able to keep it going. But that number 3 was pointed to the inside wall. He got on the brakes and was able to keep it going as he smacks the wall once again. Steve Reda not having a great lap here, if you will, around the racetrack. Hopefully he can get it pointed in the right direction and keep it off the wall. I think he might have just kissed it there again coming out of turn number 2 in that bright yellow number 3 machine. But now they're 3 wide back behind him as the 4 of Andrew Himmelman gets washed way up the racetrack with a little bit of help possibly from the number 99 machine. And Andrew Himmelman sliding well back now all the way back to 15th.
Yeah, and that's just, a product of short track racing. If you get stuck on the outside, you're quickly, becoming freight trained and you're stuck there and you have lap after lap after lap having to run the high line. And like we see there, it makes it so much easier to get up into that outside wall. And that's what we saw with Reda. And unfortunately, the 3 of Himmelman behind him also getting into that outside wall.
But now let's look at that battle for the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, because the number 50 of Bill Edwards has caught DeMarco Starks. This is the battle for that Shibby Shack Cash payout between the 14 and the number 50. So Edwards here starting to work his way up towards the front of the field. And up at the top of the screen, we have laps since last pit. You'll see that your race leader, Ben Izenga, hasn't been on pit road for 46 laps as the 14 of Starks gets really loose coming out of the corner. As they go off into turn number 1, it looks like DeMarco Stark's able to save it, but looks like the 50 of Edwards. No, I thought he was going to flash on by, but they continue to race side by side. Coming into the picture now, the number 98 machine of Jerry Glenn. He's had a little bit of an up-down night as they get tight again coming off of turn number 4. This is some hard racing at Myrtle Beach.
Hard racing, and just, man, that was tight there. It's almost like they got squeezed there with the 98 of Jerry Glenn as well in the way. And, we've said it all night, 3 wide just does not work here at the track. And, side by side yet again. Now here's Glenn sticking his nose in there to get underneath the 14 of Starks. Starks is going to lose that position, and he's about to fall into the clutches of the 98 of Philip Scott as well.
You know what? I was thinking when I was turning some of those practice laps here, that this is probably going to be the one racetrack where these drivers are going to have to drive the hardest to make the fewest amount of passes all season long. It's just so difficult to pass at this racetrack. It's just the nature, and you can see how much these drivers are having to lean on each other to make those passes, which is not usually a great thing in iRacing. And whoa, the 28 and the 52, man, they're tight on board with Spencer Tart right now, trying to work his way coming off of turn number 4. Looks like he's going to complete that pass on Hot Lap Run, as looks like Andrew Himmelman now trying to close in on this battle in front of him. There's the number 24, Ben Mashburn, and Spencer Tart now trying to go to work on Steve Reda. But, Mashburn there locking up the left front a little bit. That is just telling you, folks, how difficult it is to pass at this racetrack. Now the 28 of Tart trying to go to the inside of Steve Rader as we're 3 wide. Oh, we got an accident. We got an accident. We got an accident. Caution flag in the air, and I think I saw the number 70 of Chris Darling there on the screen. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Chris.
Yeah, just a tough break there, and we were mentioning a little bit of a rivalry between a couple of these drivers, and 13 of Lorello got into the back of the 70, and then, well, the rest happens as you see here on the screen.
Yeah, that is, oh, man, the blood is going to be boiling over. You see Chris Darling. Let's go back a little bit more because Chris Darling was actually locked up in the battle of Jason Gracias. This was a lap before Gracias got loose coming out of turn number 3. That opened up the door to the outside for Darling. Darling trying to go to fill that spot. Now they go off into turn number 1, but Darling clips the wall there, comes back down the racetrack, and Lorello with a full head of steam just nudges the number 70 of Darling, and you see Darling go around, look at the 77, and oh man, nowhere for Shibby Shack Dash for Cash driver Bill Edwards to go. And the number 50, that's actually one of Lorello's teammates right there in that number 50 machine. But look at this gaggle of cars coming out back as the 3 and the 28 make contact. Boy, oh boy, that is going to be an interesting one, Bob, as we have 28 laps to go. Your leaders stay out. Some drivers hitting pit road. DeMarco Starks is one of those in the number 14. This is going to be interesting to see. With how difficult it is to pass here, I can see why the leaders are definitely keeping that track position here because it is not easy to make a move here.
For sure. I mean, track position is so key at this track because, like we've seen all night, it's just so impossible to pass here without giving someone the old chrome horn. But, at the same time, if I'm a driver, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I wish I had some fresh tires right about now.
Ben Adams is psychic. He said, make sure you keep that camera on Lorello and Darling. The 7 machine of Gleason has a little bit of moment there coming off pit road, and now he's going to have to get himself turned back around, and he's in an awkward spot as the whole field is going to just cruise on by him. He's going to fall 2 laps down here in that race car. A bit surprised with all the caution flags that we've had here tonight. Gleason not able to get back on the lead lap through the lucky dog, but that's not going to help as he's now 2 laps down. DeMarco Starks in the 14 machine. First car off pit road on fresh tires. He's going to be well back. Looks like Mike Floppy Tellier also might have come down for fresh tires in the number 97. So we'll keep an eye on that. There is that bright yellow machine. Spencer Tart in the 28. Looks like he came down pit road. Same thing with Hot Lap Ron. So maybe those drivers electing to use their final set of tires as we were going to go back green, but the field is clearly not lined up here, Bob. So we're going to add an extra lap under the caution flag and see if we can re-rack them and do it all again.
Yeah, just a bit of confusion there. A couple of drivers trying to figure out where they're trying to go as far as lining up and position is concerned, but it looks like now they're finally maybe starting to get lined up here as the lights on the pace car, I believe, have been turned off yet again.
Looking out back right now of the race leader, Ben Izenga, who's been getting these monstrous restarts here tonight, Bob. Do you think the field is starting to figure out his tricks? Do you think anyone can keep with him off into turn number 1? You would think that if Bab can stay with Izenga, he might be able to pull off the pass if he can kind of pinch him down onto the inside line. The old adage, you pinch, you pay, though. We'll have to keep an eye on that as Izenga's been going right about there, and yes, that's where he goes once again. So Izenga, it seems like he's being not varying his restart zone all too much, as now we go side by side back behind him, and look who's creeped up into the top 5. That's the number 77 of Dave Harvey.
Yeah, great run there by Dave Harvey. Harvey started 24th on the grid. He's moved up 20 spots over these laps and, has had a fairly clean race. Was around some accidents, wasn't really the cause of any accidents, and, kept his nose clean, or as clean as he can get on a short track at least, and he's put in some great work tonight.
Philip Scott and the number 99 machine back up inside the top 5. What a topsy-turvy night this has been. Philip Scott also on the freshest tires out of anyone in the top 5. So that could work to his advantage as you see James Babb once again get up to that second spot, and continues to hold off Jason Gracias.
Yeah, Babb having a good race as well. Started 4th, right now running in the 2nd position. Gracias right behind him, started 6th, and right now currently running in 3rd. And, it all comes down to these restarts. I'm sure we'll have at least one more restart to go. And, of course, as I say that, the yellow flag gets thrown. I would be interested to see if Babb is able to anticipate the way Izinga has been launching, because he's been going just right around that little red tape mark as they come out of turn number 4 on the pit wall. So I'd be interested to see if he's able to jump him when they go back to green.
And there you see the reason for this caution. The 86 and the 55 there having a little bit of a coming together. We'll see if we can get another look at this one out of our turn 4 camera, because you should see them enter stage left. There you go. And man, it's kind of hard one to call because I think we might just have to go up to the blimp cam to sort this one out, because I don't know if the 86 was clear. Was the 55 trying to go to his outside? He was. And then the 55 is there just barely. The 86 starts coming up the racetrack. You see the 86, man. The 86 has an insane amount of wheel in that race car. I mean, you can see those front tires completely turned. We'll see if we can go back and catch this one. It's like, I don't know if the 86 is using a controller or something, but watch how much steering input the 86 has. He's got those left front, and maybe it's just due to the damage on that race car, so you can kind of see that left front, but it seems like that left front is just turn, and that car is saying nope, as he gets up into the wall right here in front of that number 55 machine.
Yeah, and it's almost as if he got a little bit too much speed going into the corner and was way too tight on exit, wound up drifting up the track. And, that's something that I know, me personally racing, I have a big issue with that, especially here at Myrtle Beach. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into the outside wall because I just carried too much speed going into the corner and wasn't able to scrub off enough coming out on corner exit.
Yeah, that is for sure. And unfortunately for the 86 machine, that it's not his first accident that he's been involved in here tonight, as the caution flag flies again. And folks, back home, if you said over on the over-under that Steven Doziak put up there of 10.5, you would be right. It has been covered, and then some, as I think we'll bring up the race details. We're now working number 12 here, so the caution laps closing in on 50% of the race here with 16 laps to go. The 00 machine, can he do anything with Ben Izenga here of the closing laps? I really think that for Babb to do anything, he's either going to have to get a stellar restart or he's going to have to hope it goes green all the way from here.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even if it does go green all the way we've seen Izinga just kind of jump out and get a big lead, Babb has been right there on his back bumper, but still hasn't been able to catch him and get around him. 'Cause catching him is one thing, getting around him is another. And it's going to be interesting here as they get ready to go back green.
Field working their way through turn number 3 and 4. Izenga's been going right about here, and once again, he's on the loud pedal right about when I said it. So he's really not mixing it up all too much on the restart point, but here comes the number 1 of Gracias. I think Gracias has learned a little bit. He's going to try and look to the inside of Babb, not able to make a move just yet.
Yeah, it looks like as well another person who learned was the 77 of Dave Harvey as the yellow flag comes out yet again. Harvey had a really good jump in the second row, but unfortunately just could not get going as the guys in front of him were still waiting on the 17 of Izinga to get a move on.
Yeah, this is definitely kind of a tough one here. Here we go, a little bit further back in the pack. The number 4. Oh, the 4 and the 52 have it coming together, and the 4 starts to go up the racetrack. There's the 20. Something must have happened in front of them as well. As you see Himmelman involved. Let's see if we can figure out what happened in front of him, because definitely there was someone going around up in front of him as well. Oop, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go back. Let's go back. It wasn't ready yet, folks. The tape wasn't rolled. Here we go. The number 98 machine and the number 97. The 97 puts his nose in there, and the number 98 machine, good save there by the number 98 of Jerry Glenn, but I think Jerry Glenn, I think he might have called it a night on that one. Let's see it go on board with the number 98 machine right here going off into the corner, and yeah, definitely, it felt like that was his corner there, Bob. Definitely kind of just getting nudged up out of the way by the number 97 machine, and I believe Jerry Glenn has taken his car to the garage after that one. So definitely, it's been a frustrating night. It's not an easy racetrack to pass at. That is for sure. And I think we're seeing that really come to the forefront on these restarts. A lot of frustrated drivers just trying to go one step above that racing limit. And we're seeing that happen over and over again tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a lot of it you can attest to short track racing, but again, I mean, this track here at Myrtle Beach is it's a tough racetrack to handle. I mean, we've been talking about it all night, how hard it is to get on the gas and get off the brake at the right time to get your car squared up to get around just some really awkward off-centered corners. So it's one of those tracks where Peter, rather, like you had said, just it's so tough to get around this course, and that's going to lead to a lot of flared tempers.
Yeah, that is for sure. As the number 17 of Izinga here, dominating performance here tonight, was led 129 laps out of the 140 that we have run, but hopefully we can go green flag to the finish. I've said that a couple of times here tonight as the field having a little bit of difficulty getting lined up in the back of the pack. Pace car lights are now off, and really I got to think, Bob, perhaps the admins here will maybe think about going to single file restarts maybe in later races if we start to see this similar trend. I don't know, if that is going to be an option. We've seen some mid-season audibles, but definitely could be something that will be changed after tonight's race. Meanwhile, the pace car is headed down pit road for what is hopefully the final time, but I have a feeling it won't be as a green flag waves. Bab! Not a good restart in the 00 machine. Almost going around in front of the field. And there he is, gets it all sorted out. Now the 97 machine's going around in front of the field. That's going to bring out the caution flag, that is for sure.
Wow, I cannot believe the 00 saved it. The 97, wrong place, wrong time there. I believe he might have gotten caught up with the 00 there, as the 97 is able to get going under his own power, looking more like a 358 modified there, or one of the SK modifieds.
And you can see they went 3 wide, and like you mentioned, that's not going to work here. You're going to have to give a lot of room, and unfortunately, it's like Jeff Wyatt got a piece of it, Steve Rademont got a piece of it back there. But I'm going to go back and see. I mean, that all kind of started right there with the close to the number 77 machine. Let's see if we can roll this kind of in slow motion here. The 00 not up there by the wall, and I think Gracias expects him to be, and they just kind of have a coming together. Look at Harvey sneak around the high side. What a night it's been for him. He's going to get up into the second position after that scuffle, and then this is where the 97 and the 52, they just ran out of room there on the racetrack. The 97 coming down, and Hot Lap Run is right there. I don't think Mike Floppy Tellier realized he was 3 wide.
Yeah, I don't think he realized he was 3 wide there, and just had a bit of a coming together and wound up pinballing across a couple of other drivers.
Yeah, so that is, man, it's just been a crazy night, and somehow the 77 machine of David Harvey, he was a lap down at one point, folks, in this yellow and blue Hisense Toyota Camry. A lap down. I don't think he is going to know how he got up into this position, and hopefully he doesn't end up like one of those cars that we just saw turned around here when we go back green. Lots of Fs in the chat. That is what I'm seeing right now. Just so many Fs in the chat. It's oh boy, we've seen a lot of caution flags here tonight. Hopefully we don't see any. In fact, I will be honest with you. We won't see any. Well, knock on wood. I hope we won't see any yellow flags next week when we go road course racing. We might see local yellows, but not for full course yellows next week. So Ben Adams is adding more Fs in the chat. So yay, more Fs in the chat. We thank each and every one of you for joining us here on the channel here tonight. Tana Himmelman says, okay, I have no clue what that meant. Ben just had to educate me. Yeah, F's in the chat. A lot of streamers use it. We're a streamer. We're 3-wide TV. Yep, we use F's in the chat. But anyway, here we are. Pace car lights are off again. And we're going to have a natural green-white checker. That means it's not a real attempt at a green-white checker. We'll have 2 laps to go when we go back green. We'll still have 2 attempts at a green-white checker in our back pocket. Now, all these drivers at this point in time will be thinking to themselves, I don't want to screw this up. Hopefully they don't here, Bob, because we're about to go green with 2 laps to go.
That's for sure. As Ben Izinga leads the field down, he's getting ready to get on that loud pedal once again, and hopefully for the final time, as the green flag is back in the air. Another great jump there by the 17 of Izinga, but Dave Harvey stands strong. But here's the 1 of Jason Gracias diving to the inside, looking to take second position from Harvey.
They go side by side down the backstretch. The 1 of Gracias, your reigning champion of the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, is going to get himself, and the caution flag has come out, folks. Could you have predicted it? It's Chris Darling in the number 70 machine who has gone around, and let's see how this one all shook out. The number 70 was up there, Bob. He was running in the 6th position, but look at Ben Mashburn, his teammate down there on the inside. They go 3 wide, and the 70's up there on the top side, and the 52 kind of stuck there in the middle. The 70 starts to come down to try and get off the corner, and there's an absolute kerfuffle there on the backstretch with the number 14 of DeMarco Starks being involved.
You know, that I think kerfuffle is the perfect descriptor for that event. I mean, the 70... I don't know if they didn't realize that they were 3 wide there. I don't know if the 70 knew the 24 was even down below him, but 52 got into the 70, 14 piles in, and then Doziak just kind of plowing through, wasn't expecting the 70 to keep spinning there, and we'll have ourselves a green-white checkered for this race.
Now it will be an attempt at a green-white checker. So we've had the unofficial green-white checker, but now we're going to get the real green-white checker. So this will be the first attempt. I believe we get 2 attempts. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but hopefully we don't see the second attempt. But man, with the way this has been going here tonight, it seems like we'll see. If we had the chance, it seems like we'd probably have 20 or 30 attempts at a green-white checker, basically until the entire field is put on their lids, if we were able to.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those times where we almost have to thank ourselves that we're not in the NASCAR Cup Series where they have unlimited attempts at green white checkered. You know, two green white checkers is going to be enough here for tonight. Hopefully, this is the only one that they need, as the field's looking to get squared away before we go back green.
You're looking at the number. Ooh, you're not looking at the 24 machine of Ben Mashburn, as I forgot to smash the live button. Boy, wouldn't that be a right kerfuffle if I didn't hit the right button there before we go back green. But, oh boy, it's been one of those nights here on 3-Wide TV. I do apologize for, a couple of things going on early in the race. And then lots of cautions here. And, man, just really a lot of drivers driving a little bit crazy here tonight. We knew it was going to be tough, Bob. We knew we both went out there on the racetrack. We both drove some laps with the setup, and now I'm kind of wondering maybe we should have made it a harder setup to drive, so the drivers wouldn't have been so racy with one another. But I think the setup, as hard as it is to drive, I think is very racy, and I think these drivers are just racing it very, very hard.
For sure. I mean, these drivers are all out there competing, trying to get that win and trying to get those championship points. And, you got to have the setup where it's easy enough to drive, but also not, too easy to drive where guys are running into each other and, you're just kind of logging laps here as the green flag is out, and a great move there by the 17 to jump ahead. And now here's Dave Harvey looking to the inside of the one of Jason Gracias, and, well, happened again. This time it's the 99 of Philip Scott getting turned around, and the yellow flag is back out for quite possibly and hopefully the final time tonight.
Yeah, that number 99 machine of Philip Scott, I think he just pushed up just a little bit into the side. Let's see if we can get kind of an onboard look of him racing here with, I think, the 00 of Bab. Going off through the corner right here, and yeah, just a little bit of a nudge there, unsettled the back end of that number 99 machine, and unfortunately for the 99 of Philip Scott, what could have been a top 5 there, going to end up being a junk night for that number 99 National Ninja League Ford Mustang, as he's going to drop well back in the pack here. But we're going to get another attempt at a green-white checker. This, I believe, will be our final attempt at a green-white checker, folks. So if we don't go green to the end, that's going to be it. That's going to be the race. And for right now, Ben Izenga is continuing to rack up laps led, folks. He has now almost led 150 laps, which was the scheduled distance of tonight's 150-lap feature race here at Myrtle Beach in the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. Will he get to 150 laps led? Sure does look like, as his number just increased to 146. And pace car lights continue to be on here at the racetrack.
Yeah, so if he winds up leading all of these laps here, once they go back green and getting the win, very well could hit that 150 lap count.
If you're wondering, the only other driver to lead a lap here tonight was Mike Floppy Tellier on some slightly different pit strategy, because Izenga came down pit road just once tonight in that number 17 machine, but when he did so, he relinquished the race lead to Mike Tellier, and very quickly was able to get back to the race lead after just 11 laps led by Tellier. That number 17 doesn't have a scratch on it here tonight, Bob, and that, I think, is going to be a story when we get to next week. Just keeping your car clean has been super duper important here tonight, as you've seen. And Dave Harvey, he's got a smashed up car, but he got all that damage really early in the race, Bob, and ever since he's been able to keep it clean, and that's how he's been able to get himself up onto the podium as of right now. Yeah,
not only has he been able to keep his car clean and keep this race clean for the most part, the 77 of Harvey, he started in 24th place out of 30 cars in tonight's field. So, he's had to drive his way all the way through the field, and just quite an impressive run there for that 77 machine.
So, the pace car lights have been extinguished, and we know that this will be the final time we'll see the green flag here tonight. Hopefully we can see the caution, or not see the caution. What am I saying? As I don't want to see any more caution flags here tonight. But the pace car going to head down pit road, and Ben Izenga on the loud pedal. Dave Harvey, a little bit of a wiggle at the back of that Hisense number 77 machine. But Ben Izenga's right where he needs to be, going off at short number 1. And the 77 of Harvey gets nudged up the racetrack. We got cars going around back there in the back of the pack. They're on board with the 8 machine of Ricky Williams. Caution flag is back in the air, and I am shocked because we're going to have another attempt at a green-white checker. I thought it was just 2, but it looks like we're going to have some more, and this is going to be another one that we're going to have to dissect, Bob.
Man, oh man, cautions, absolutely breeding cautions there. It looks like the 8 got caught out of position. The 86 got into him, and oh man, that's the 50 of Bill Edwards and the 44 of Giveshausen getting into him as well. But we'll have one more restart, and I'm sure, just from a driver's standpoint, it's got to be killing your momentum to drive a few laps, have a caution, drive half a lap, have another caution, and you're just kind of sitting there like, all right, let's get this race done. I had my momentum going. It's, messing me up, and I got to get back in this headset yet again, and it's got to be tough from the driver's standpoint.
Let's go back and see exactly what happened to the 77 of Harvey, and Harvey just overdrove turn number 1. I thought he might have got a little bit of help there from the 00 of Bab, but he didn't. got up the racetrack, was able to save it there. A little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn number 2 as well, but that was when the caution flag flew. So he didn't lose any positions in that. Let's see if we can go on board with the number 77 machine for this restart, because there was a definite wiggle out the back of the 77 machine right there. You can see just a little bit of a wiggle out of the car. Might have heated up the rear tires a little bit. Going off into the corner there, you can see him start to slide the back in. Fantastic save, able to hold on to that race car, and then, oh man, that wiggle again. And that's when the caution flag flew, as out back the 8 of Ricky Williams, they're going around. But definitely not what you want to see. All right, question for the chat. Are you guys happy to go to road course racing next week? Are you happy to go north of the border to Canada? Because South Carolina here tonight has not been too kind to these drivers. For one, I'm looking forward to road course racing. I love road course racing, Bob. You know that. And
Oh, yeah.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is one of my favorite road courses in all of North America. And it's going to be awesome to see these cars wheel their way around that one, especially after the way this race has gone tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing these Xfinity Series cars just rip around the track. And I will say I think Montreal is one of my favorite racetracks as well. Just to watch races at, whether it's Formula One or back when the Xfinity Series or then Nationwide Series had gone up to Montreal. Just one of my favorite tracks to watch, and I'm really excited to see these cars out there on that track next week, right here on 3 Wide TV.
Absolutely. Well, pace car lights have turned off again. That pace car driver is getting a workout here tonight, folks, because he has been out there a lot. They might run out of fuel in that Ford Mustang if we get any more cautions. Hopefully not, because Ben Izenga is on the loud pedal once again. Cleaner restart this time for the number 77 machine of Dave Harvey, as he continues to be side by side with the 1 of Jason Gracias going off into the corner. Harvey pushes up a little bit. Gracias gives him a little bit of room, and it looks like that 77 will clear the number 1 machine. Let's look a little bit further back behind him. There's the number 97 of Mike Floppy Taylor. A little bit of a lockup out of the 86 there of Jeff Wyatt. Now James Babb trying to go toe-to-toe with Spencer Tart. Here are the two teammates working together. Very similar cars. White flag is in the air. That's good news. Ben Izenga clear at the front of the field here, Bob, but side-by-side battle for second.
Side by side coming out of turn number 4, Ben Izenga is going to get the win, but let's see who comes in second, as across the line, getting into the wall, the 77 of Dave Harvey, I believe, edges out the 1 of Jason Gracias by just under a 1/10 of a second at the line. So what a great battle there. But Ben Izenga will win tonight at Myrtle Beach in the Showman's Care 150.
Yeah, watch this battle. 77 Harvey getting into the wall, and that was enough to hold off a hard charge from the number 1 there of Jason Gracias, your reigning champion here in the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. Meanwhile, the number 77 of Ben Izenga going to burn it down here on the front stretch, leading a grand total of 157 laps, folks. The race was only scheduled for 150, and Izenga going to walk away with more laps led than the original scheduled distance of the race. What a dominating performance from the number 17 here tonight. Started on the pole, led the most laps, and also had the fastest lap of the race. That's right, folks. Actually, I take that back. Did not have the fastest lap of the race. That went to the 00 of James Babb, but very impressive. I'm looking at this. The very last lap turned by that number 17 machine was a 19.783. That lap time less than a 1/10 off the fastest lap of the entire race by James Babb. So that number 17 machine had pace all the way to the end here tonight, parking it in Victory Lane here at Myrtle Beach. Folks, we're going to step away for just a brief moment. We'll be right back here on 3Y TV. All right, folks, welcome back to 3 Wide TV, tonight's broadcast of Total Nonstop Racing League's Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. I've caught up with tonight's fourth place finisher. Don't know if we'll get a word with our third place finisher here tonight, David Harvey, but I'm going to pull Jimmy Babb up here into the channel. And Jimmy, boy, what a crazy night here at Myrtle Beach. It seemed like a lot of yellows, cautions, breeding cautions. We did get a little bit of a green flag run right there in the middle, but it's one of those nights where if you walked away with no damage on the car, you ended up winning the race. You got a little bit of damage on that 00 machine. Tell us about the night from your perspective.
I mean, it was a decent run. I didn't have a race winning car. I had a top 3 car. Ran up the hill. I guess with 20 to 30 to go or whatever. I was just sitting back there riding behind the 17 and pacing in front of the 1 there. And I don't know who got me. It is what it is. I just saved it and took what I could get and finished 4th. I mean, I really think I had a 2nd place car, but it's okay.
Well, it was definitely a hard track to pass at. I mean, we definitely saw that out of basically every single driver in the field having difficulty passing other cars. And that's just kind of a nature of this racetrack because you're basically turning left for, what would you say, 85 to 90% of the lap?
Yeah, I mean, maybe 99.999. You never stop, but I mean, the the set was really tight. But I don't know if going freer is the correct. I mean, for me it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, everybody had the same thing, but you just had to woe it so far down and use the paint on the line to actually rotate the car. A lot of things. I mean, 17 had it figured out. He had a good run. Good on him.
Yeah, and really, with how much weight these cars have on this track, Myrtle Beach is, of course, known for basically being a super late track where the cars don't weigh as much as these cars. They give them a little bit more agility, and especially with how much you lean on the right front going off into turn number 1, it makes it very difficult, and you have a lot of drivers out there with different braking points and all that. And it was definitely an interesting race, that is for sure, here tonight, Jimmy. But you know what? Great run for you coming home in the 4th position. Next week we go road course racing, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, up north of the border in Montreal. Are you one of those drivers relishing going to a road course, or are you just going to try and walk away with a car in one piece next week?
One piece, keep it on the racetrack is about all you'll get out of me. For the road courses, I will run them. I mean, some guys on our team, they're really good at them. I'm just not that guy. I've just never really got into running them. But it is fun. It's something different, and we'll see. Maybe I'll luck up and do something decent.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, before we let you go, any shout outs that you'd like to give?
No, just thanks for having me, and hopefully we get the sets a little bit freer, and I'm sure y'all do what you need to do. But yeah, just thanks for having me, and see y'all soon.
All right. Well, folks, that was Jimmy Babb and the 00 machine. Best of luck next week at Montreal. All right. Let's see if we can go down to our 2nd place finisher here. 3rd place finisher of Jason Gracia in the number 1 machine, because I believe Bob Giaquinto has caught up with Jason Gracias.
I do. Jason Gracias, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3 Wide TV booth. Jason, a tough race out there tonight. A lot of cautions, a lot of stop and go. Just take me through the race that you saw out of your windshield tonight.
It wasn't the best showing for this league. Lots of yellows. We got to work to clean that up. Lots of incidents to review, myself included. So we'll take it back and take a look to see what's going on. Yeah, just a rough race. Really hard to pass at this track. The track is a decent track, maybe in a modified, but with this Xfinity car, it was tough to pass. The set was a little too tight, but it's a lot of incidents. A lot of close racing, lots of incidents.
Yeah, definitely, and it's something that we saw throughout the night. That, like you had said, it's very hard to pass on here at Myrtle Beach. And just take me through that battle between you and the 77 coming to the line there, just barely edging you out. Just some strong restarts on both of your sides, and just kind of came down to a good battle.
Yeah, Ben figured it out. If you're the leader with the bottom, you can get a really good start. If you time it right, just coming out the turn, it was just way too loose on second gear. I tried going to third gear, just too slow. That one with 9 to go, I put it in third gear, try to restart it, and that's when me and the zero made contact. I guess it was more net code than anything. On my screen, it looks like he came down. Maybe I came up, but it was just tough. I didn't want to get into anybody, so I was giving everybody extra room. Me and Dave had a good run. Maybe if I was a little bit more aggressive, I could have got him for second. But that's not my racing style. I try to race everybody clean.
Fair enough. And just looking forward to next week's race. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, easy enough for me to say. Road course racing. What are you looking forward to, or are you even looking forward to road racing next week?
No, I'm not looking forward to it at all. Never driven that track. Never had a desire to go drive that track. So uh, it's going to be a learning experience for sure. I probably won't practice until we get into the server. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe if I keep it clean and I can pull off a win or top five or something.
Fair enough. Well, Jason, before we let you go, do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, thanks everybody who came out and raced. Again, we apologize for all the yellows. We'll have to reassess setups and race conduct going forward. Thanks to everybody at home who tuned in to this fabulous 3Y TV broadcast. I'm sure you guys made it exciting for everybody at home. Thanks to Garrett for putting the league together. Billy Thornton Graphics are sponsoring the league at Raceway Park. Thanks to Max Graphics for the awesome looking #1 car. We have a couple more cool schemes planned for later this year. And everyone, if you need some photos from tonight's race, go check out Sim Shots on Facebook. Um, Andrew Himmelman does a great job taking pictures of cars. So everybody go check out Sim Shots on Facebook.
Fair enough. Well, Jason, congrats on the third place finish, and look forward to seeing you next week out there in Montreal.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some poutine and fit in with the crowd.
That sounds like a plan. Jason, again, congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Good night, guys.
All right. Well, let's see if we can dial up the man who led 157 laps tonight. One of only 2 drivers to lead laps at Myrtle Beach. Ben Izenga in the NOS Energy Drink Toyota Supra. And Ben, you really had this racetrack figured out. I know there was a lot of cautions here tonight, so really a lot of people struggled to get into that rhythm, but you were able to take off, get out front, and you were able to stretch your legs during the little bit of green flag running that we're getting here tonight. Tell us about your run.
He said lots of cautions, but yeah, I was able to figure it out on the short run and that little long run we had there. And I had some pretty decent launches on the restart, so that was pretty good.
This is a racetrack that obviously is very, very difficult to pass at. We saw a lot of drivers struggle with that. Part of it is the fact that low line, similar to tracks like ORP, has a little bit less banking than that second groove, but we kind of saw you running right down there, able to de-wedge the car a little bit to get that car to rotate. Was that kind of your strategy tonight, to kind of get that car to pick up mid-corner?
Yeah, I actually was still not really sure how to run 3 and 4 by the time we started the race. In practice, I was trying some different things, and I was struggling here and there. So 1 and 2 I had down pretty well, but 3 and 4 I was still working on it. And then around lap 40 or so, I started to figure it out and just hooked the left sides on the dirt and on the white line there, and we were good to go.
Yeah, definitely an interesting racetrack because you carry so much speed off into turn #1. It really, with carrying so much speed off into turn #1, you kind of need a stiff front end so that you kind of not overload the right side, not lift up the left front. And I know a lot of drivers were kind of struggling with the setup here tonight and all that. But, ultimately, you were able to get the job done, leading 157 laps here tonight. But from short track racing, we go to a completely different beast next week. We go to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve up in Montreal, road course racing, turning left as well as right around the famed Montreal road course. You looking forward to it, or are you not looking forward to it?
Honestly, kind of like I was going into this week, I don't really know how to feel yet. I don't really have any practice laps there yet, so we're going to work on that this week and through the weekend. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not too sure.
Well, definitely is one of my favorite road courses, and I know there is a setup for that one, so you should be able to kind of jump on that and get practicing right away. But Ben, fantastic run here tonight. You had everyone in the chat saying that you were absolutely the dominant car from the get-go there in qualifying, starting on the pole, leading the most laps, and barely missing out on the fastest lap of the race, which did go to Jimmy Babb in the 00. But Ben, before we let you go, any shout-outs?
Yeah, of course. I got to thank you guys for broadcasting, all the guys who run this league. They do an awesome job. I got to thank all my teammates from S2R, Bill, James, Spencer. We have Dustin Jones in there every once in a while. He couldn't make it tonight, but he's a good guy as well. I'm going to thank you, STRL Sim Racing. Just all the guys who help me out week in, week out.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, want to give you a big congratulations getting to go to Victory Lane here tonight, and I hope to see you again next week in Montreal.
Thanks, Peter.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for tonight's race winner, the number 17 machine of Ben Izenga. And Bob, I think it's time to go through tonight's final race result.
For sure. So the winner, as we had mentioned before, Ben Izenga in the 17 machine dominating tonight's race. Dave Harvey had a great finish to the race, started around 24th, wound up finishing in second. Jason Gracias, third place. James Babb, and then Spencer Tart rounding out your top five. James Lorello, after getting into it with the 70 of Chris Darling, finishes sixth. Mike Floppy Tellier, with a car basically missing the entire front end, comes in seventh. Ben Mashburn, Chris Darling, and then Andrew Himmelman round out your top 10.
Yeah, good recovery there for Andrew Himmelman. Just sneak out a top 10 right there at the end. DeMarco Starks in the number 14 machine there, finishing in 11th. And in fact, I think that number 4 machine, correct me if I'm wrong there, Bob, but I believe the number 4 of Himmelman walked away with the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash by 1 spot over DeMarco Starks there, finishing 11th. Philip Scott in 12th. Steve Rada coming home in 13th. Vincent Valvano 14th. Jeff Wyatt 15th. Ricky Williams, Steven Doziak Jr., the last few cars on the lead lap, 16th, 17th. Ron Chicky, first car, 1 lap down in his return to the series. Kyle Gevitshausen finishing 19th, 3 laps down. And Bill Edwards, the first driver not to finish here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, Bill Edwards down in 22nd. In 21st, Garrett Gleason, Jerry Glenn, Jason Freeman in 23rd, Tony Lucarelli 24th, Chris Stewart in 25th after having a really dominant performance in the beginning of the race. Just got into some trouble there, wound up finishing in 25th. And as the rest of the standings go across your screen, Connor Hall in 26th, Tristan Maher in 27th, and Matt Monticelli rounding out the field in 28th. Steve Kegman was in the field, but as a in-race admin, so he will be receiving the last place points for tonight's race as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he had quite a bit to do here tonight behind the scenes, and I'm sure a lot of the admins will have a lot of things to do behind the scenes as well. But folks, going to be a much different race next week. No caution flags. That's the good news at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. A little bit of road course racing. We're going to figure out which of these drivers here in the Total Nonstop Racing League can wheel their way left and right the best around that famed road course next week. I'm looking forward to it, Bob.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it too. Just a good change of pace. Head out to Montreal and go around the road course. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Well, folks, before we step away here on 3 Wide TV, big shout out to Thornton Graphix for sponsoring tonight's race, as well as Max Graphics series sponsor, and of course, Dunn Raceway Park also chipping in to sponsor the series. Big shout outs to them, as well as our friends over at Sim TV for the camera angles that we bring you each and every week here on the channel. But until we see you north of the border, have a good night, stay safe, and we shall see ya.